this weekend is full of outstanding action everywhere you look. Horses that we expect to see at the festivals in March, April, and May, even at Cheltenham, Aintree, and Punchestown later in the season. A lot of them reappearing this season for their first run, but some with their main targets in mind. It's an absolute outstanding weekend of action. Tom, obviously, we've got together, put our heads together, and talked long and hard about this weekend ahead.
Mm.
Um, are you looking forward to the horses, the races this weekend?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we just had the 3 days at Cheltenham, and just a week on, we got this. So, great time of national racing, isn't it? And yeah, some huge names appearing this weekend, and some really, really competitive races, isn't there? So, looking forward to it.
Well, there's no excuses with the ground at this moment in time. We've had plenty of rain, and it means that we're going to be well underway. But before we talk about this weekend's racing, we've decided to take a little bit of a look back, mate, and have a look through Cheltenham last
Yeah,
weekend. Before we go to, we're going to give you basically three horses each that caught our eyes and we think that you should get in your trackers and follow going forward.
yeah.
So before we go into that, though, mate, overall 3 days, top class action. Did you enjoy it? Is it a meeting that?
Yeah, I was there all 3 days. Plenty of beer, plenty of bets, a few winners here and there. The Friday was absolute torrential, wasn't it? It was a bit of an hour and whether it go ahead, but I'm grateful it did. And yeah, we managed to get the 3 days without any hassle in the end. And yeah, really, really good racing. We picked out a couple here that we thought worth keeping an eye on going forward that can, get their head in front at some point, or if not, already won.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have a go at that now.
Well, you're going to be very surprised to hear that actually our horse directly, who ran at Cheltenham, is not going to be one of the eye catchers. Unfortunately, he kind of, I suppose, done what he can do at that level in very good company, strong company.
Yeah.
But there were three that caught our eye. Tom, let's do one each at a time.
Okay,
So you go
yeah.
your first one.
A horse I know really well, actually. Trained my brother, Sam Drinkwater, Aeroplane Blonde. Ran in the last race on the Friday in absolute torrential conditions. Actually, I couldn't see him for much of the race, but I've had a good watch back now. And yeah, it's very eye-catching, I thought. Yeah, he's a horse still very much learning on the job. He's proved very keen in the past, and he was again on Friday. I don't think that's something that's going to fix overnight, but he's gradually getting better. And if you watch his runs, and you'll see what I'm on about. And his jumping's still a bit sketchy, but I think that isn't helped by how keen he is. But yeah, he did so much wrong on Friday, and he actually got himself pulled there tanking coming down the hill. Then he looking like he had a right chance of actually winning it, and he just dropped back in the end to finish fourth. But I think he's worth putting up as an eye catcher to follow, just given how he did things really, really wrong. And one day it's all going to come together, and I think we're going to see a really good horse because he's got a huge engine, and I know at home he works over absolutely everything. And he's always been the apple of Sam's eye, and he's not often wrong when he has this feeling about a horse. So, yeah, really, really promising signs from that horse, and it's definitely his best run to date. And yeah, he was right to run in there in the end because it's a hot race, and we went there with a very unexposed type, but he probably had a lot to prove in that sort of company. But yeah, he came for that test in flying colours really to finish fourth, and yeah, be some fun times ahead with that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a young horse, isn't he? So
Absolutely.
you'd expect plenty more to come from that horse.
Definitely,
so
yeah.
a great shout from you there. Let's stick with Friday. So I'll give you one from Friday because I think I've got one from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But for Friday, now this one would have caught lots of people's eyes. So I'm not probably giving you one that isn't highlighted already by various different sources. But I have to say, for the first time in a very long time in my mind, I think Paul Nicholls might just have a very, very special horse on his hand in No Drama this end. This horse travelled supremely well, jumped very well, and I think the horse he's beat is very, very good.
Yeah.
That horse needs to go back in trip, in my opinion. I don't think, certainly the way he travels now, keen to get on with things he is, I don't think 3 miles is going to be within his sort of grasp right this moment in time. Maybe in the future that might be the case, but No Drama this end is just looks a really polished, rounded, professional horse for his age, and quite often these horses end up in the hands of Willie Mullins, Gordon Elliott in Ireland, and I think we might just have one in England that might just take some beating in, hopefully, in my opinion, the Turners / Barrymore, whichever that's called, and sponsors that one this year. They seem to flip flop between the two of them, but he looks a classy individual.
Yeah.
When you see him in person, he's got a beautiful big presence about him. He looks like a chaser in the making as well. So they're going to give it the old, anything he does over hurdles is going to be a bonus. But I think he's better than that. I think he will be the one to beat at, from what I've seen so far in the 2.5 mile championship race at the festival.
Absolutely, yeah. He was outstanding the other day. And, we've got to worth mentioning that Nichols's horses, he's been having a lot of stick, really, hasn't he? Because they've been a bit hit and miss. But for that one to go into first time up in graded company, I thought was a really good performance. I actually put him forward in one of our earlier episodes as a horse to follow throughout the season.
You did, yeah.
I think Zach from Hooven Hustle did as well. So we're off to a flyer with that one. It's great to see this horse come through the English point-to-point ranks as well. Often we see them coming from France and Ireland. So yeah, it's a big name for English point-to-pointing and showing that we can fry some good ones. So.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, do you want to give us your second one?
Yeah, second one. It came on the Saturday. Catboy. He's a horse that was always well regarded when trained by Paul Nicholls. I think he made a winning bumper debut for him, and he looked like he had the world at his feet, to be fair. But some things didn't go quite right after that. This was his second run now for Ollie Murphy. He made a winning start up at Perth, did it nicely that day, and this was a step up in company. But yeah, he got outpaced at a crucial point. I think it was 2 out, and really flew home nicely to only beat a couple of lengths against more polished horses. This one's definitely got lots more to come. I think a step up in trip now as well within range. He's settled better on this occasion than he has done in the past. I think he's just slowly putting it all together, and it's probably a well handicapped horse going forward. You'd likely see him in one of these races again at Cheltenham, I'd have thought. Maybe even stepped up to 3 mile. And I'm sure he can win one of these, actually.
Yeah, I agree with you. He definitely caught my eye. I put him up in a video that I put out the other day in terms of the horses I felt to follow. So yeah, great shout. I definitely agree with you. My second horse to put up is a horse called Precious Man. Ran in the juvenile hurdle trial on the Saturday. I think it was first race. Him, if you backed Precious Man, you probably went through the race thinking there's absolutely no doubt this is going to win. Coming down the hill, there was nothing travelling stronger, more powerful, but he was a little bit keen early doors, which I think is probably what put ends to his actual race winning manoeuvre when he come up the home straight. Now, I do think the Durham horse is probably really good as well, so I think they're two very nice horses.
Unbeaten, isn't it?
But I think if they ran that race next week or 2 weeks' time, and they met on the same terms, I think Precious Man would have him covered. I think he would be a little bit closer. Harry is very good at teaching these horses, and that's sometimes, I think, something that the Skelton lads have decided is better for their younger horses in the longer term. And given the way he did travel, you would expect him to travel a little bit more kindly next time. Learn a lot from that occasion. Obviously, we'll know a little bit more about the job, and I just feel like this is a horse to keep on side. Now, whether or not they're clever with this horse, I don't quite know what his official rating is at this moment in time. Clever enough to handicap him for the Boodles handicap, or whether he goes down that route, because I think he's actually quite smart. So I think they could easily go that route, but it's going to be an interesting moment from here on in, isn't it?
Yeah, I think his next run will definitely determine kind of which race he'll end up going in. I imagine there'll be another similar race there next month at Cheltenham. Yeah. Doesn't have to run there, does it? There's plenty of these juvenile races for this horse. I think the last hurdle as well, he just got in close to it, and that didn't help his chances. He was given such a confident ride, wasn't he, by Harry? I was sure he was going to win coming down the hill and turning in, but in all fairness to the winner, he was probably a more sort of not finished article, but you know what I mean.
Further forward.
Yeah, he'd had a few runs already. He's a race fit horse. Had the run of the race up front. I think in the end that just probably proved crucial, to be honest. But Precious Man definitely was one that I walked away thinking, it's a good horse here and be winning plenty of races.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's another one from me. Your final one for the 3?
Yeah, so I actually put this one up on Sunday. A horse called Kim Rock, Joseph O'Brien. He's very much unknown quantity, to be honest, but the owner doesn't buy badly at all. And I really like this one on the day. He had proven soft ground form, was an unexposed type off a lovely weight. Went through the race actually like an absolute dream. Produced him, turned him in, looked like a right chance of actually winning the race. Just got it all wrong at the last and was just down on his nose and just couldn't really pick up after that. But at the line, he was gaining again. And I think there's a big handicap in this one. And I reckon you'll see him rocking up at the festival with a few pounds up his sleeve, a few runs under his belt, probably a more ready horse for that sort of race. And he's definitely worth following.
What sort of race do we think is the?
You got the 2.5 miler there, haven't you?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called now at the festival.
The Novice Chase.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
I think that'd be the one. I think I put Springwell Bay up in it last year. Obviously, that went wrong, didn't it? But that sort of race, I can see him lining up pretty handicapped horse. So.
Yeah. Okay. And then my last one is going to be an Irish horse that come over and ran on the Sunday, got beaten in the stay and chase by Marble Sands. Some good horses in that race. I think Protectorat. One of the reasons I quite like this piece of form, I think, going forward is Protectorat is one of those that almost runs his race all times. So he kind of keeps the form honest and you know where you stand. But Facile Mode is also I'm going to put forward. Now, if you go right the way back to his bumper days, this horse was quite highly touted for the champion bumper at the Cheltenham Festival. He actually running the Dublin Racing Festival bumper disappointed. So that was kind of the end of that dream at that moment in time. But before that race, it was really well fancied for that. So there's always been a level of, I suppose, optimism that this is quite a nice horse. He's taken a fair bit of time to kind of come to himself. He pitched in at deep level for his novice campaign. Then he sort of found himself running the odd good race, probably being too highly handicapped. And they've taken a fair bit of time to get him back down to where he needs to be. He's now chasing. He's still a young enough horse to do himself justice. And he finished like an absolute train at Cheltenham at the weekend, only beaten by 2 lengths by Marble Sands, who had the run of the race in terms of being able to get his head in front that day. I just think there's a good race in Facile Mode. I don't know where it is. I'm not necessarily sure we're talking Cheltenham Festival here, but it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world if he was to pop up in a really good Irish handicap throughout the winter and do himself a fair bit of justice, I'd say.
Absolutely. His jumping used to be an issue in the past, I can remember. Did he jump wild the other day?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
scratched that out.
He just warmed to his task. Actually, I just think that's where we're at with this. Is
that stamina test probably helped him as well, and just warm into it and finished off his race really well, didn't he? So
definitely a horse to keep on side is what we're saying. So okay, let's move on then. So like we said, the race in this weekend is nothing short of class. You could probably. Barring missing the odd few horses that you would want to see, you are talking superstars everywhere you look. We're going to cover the ITV races plus 2 additional races. One's going to be a Grade 2 that's run on the Saturday, and the final race being the brilliant John Durkan, which is being held at Punchestown, I believe, on Sunday. So, Tom, do you want to, I suppose, mate, do you want to...
Yeah, it's the 12-8 Haydock. It's the Grade 2, isn't it? Masked Man will line up here, likely favourite after a really good performance on debut at Chepstow. Absolutely bolted that day. There'll be plenty of pace on here, I would have thought. That one likes to get on with it. The Stuart Evans horse, who looked a really good winner up at Plumpton. This is a big step up for him, but he made all the running that day as well. And I think this could just set up nicely for a horse with double measure for the Skeltons. Made a winning debut in a bumper at Uttoxeter. And hurdling debut at Chepstow, an absolute blind of a horse called the Blue Room, who is well regarded by Ollie Murphy. We actually bumped into him with a horse called Not Without Danger up in a bumper at Foss last. So we think that Blue Room's a nice horse. So to double measure to get within half a length of that, I think it's really good form. This could quite easily have just gone for a maiden. So I think it's interesting. Skeltons have pitched him into Grade 2 level here. Obviously, assuming that he is a really nice type. And I think he could make a winning start. Obviously, they got the Grey Dawning later on in the day, so it could be a good day for connections.
In the same race, the Grade 2 hurdle race, look, it's a better race than Masked Man would have ran in the last day. What I will say is the horse that finished, I think, fighting out 15 lengths back or whatever it was into second, went and won next time up. Again, a Skelton horse. So they'll have a good guide as to whereabouts they are probably in amongst this.
Mm.
I'm a little bit disappointed, no disrespect to JJ Slevin, a little bit disappointed that we've not got Sammy Twiston on, but he's down at Ascot, so I completely understand all of the reasoning why, and also he is the retained rider for Suede and Mania. But I think this horse has got super amounts of ability. He made them look like statues at Chepstow on good ground. He just quickened and sprinted away from them. He did that in such a great taking fashion that I think that getting £5 from the second horse, Stick to the Plan, who comes back in trip, who, by the way, was a fast finishing horse at Chepstow. So I think he got caught for a bit of pace somewhere in between that race. So whether or not that's the right decision, I don't know. I guess they're trying to figure out where they're at with their horses a little bit, the Murphy Yard, because they're definitely trying to find their sort of pecking order of those novices. But yeah, I'd stick with Mass Man. I think that he's a nice horse. I think he's good enough to beat these. And on his day, if this is going to be his day, then he may well be a lively contender for the Supreme Novices for the English again this year. So I'm going to stick with Mass Man.
Double measure for me. What's the next race? So we got Haydock 115.
Yeah, the 115 at Haydock is the next ITV free race we're going to cover. I think we both like the same one here.
Yeah, the 4-6s. Yep. Yeah, he's race fit. He's on a real roll at the moment. He's won his last 3 races. Mm-hmm. There's a horse called Florida Dreams in the race, who I actually thought was a big danger, but I've gone back to some form, and he's already beat that horse by 6 lengths very, very easily. So when you take that one out of the equation, there's not much else in the race that worries me. 4-6s won a chase last time out, so drops back to hurdles here. Probably suggests that the connections feel this is a winnable race. You know, ITV, really nice pot. I think he's take all the beaten, uncomplicated ride. We'll go from the front. Hopefully, doesn't see another rival.
Yeah, I think I for all the same reasons as well. I really like the 4-6s. Plus, I'd add into the mix. I was up in the owners and trainers and spoke to Max McNeil at the weekend, and just a bit about a few of his horses. And he said he's got don't forget the 4-6s as well when we were talking about his horses. So he kind of is already getting a nice affiliation with his horse as if he could be quite good or above average. So we'll stick with the 4-6s. I think it looks quite an open-looking race in many ways, but
it's just a scouting horse, probably. Cabral de Matan, first run for them. Used to be with Paul Nichols. Yeah, real consistent type, to be fair. Plenty of wins by his name. I think he ran at Air last time, where he finished off the race really nicely.
Yeah.
Suggesting this extra few furlongs will suit. But I'm just going to go with the horse that's really in form at present. The 4-6s. So that's the one.
Good man. Okay, back at Ascot, the 130. Now, this is a race. This is a race we are really going to look forward to. Tom, what do you like in the race? It's the 130 at Ascot, the 1965 chase.
Look, I'm going to take a chance on Django Bay here. A horse I really like. I always end up backing him. Since that chasing debut at Cheltenham last year, where he demolished Springwell Bay, I thought it was so impressive. And his campaign just got better and better after that, didn't it? Ended up really phenomenal performances from that horse. Come from the absolute clouds to win the Arcor, where 2 Mile was really against him. Ultimately, a bit of trouble up front. Definitely paid to his chance of winning in the end. But then he came out and ran an absolute blinder up at Aintree. Again, just getting it done for a bit of toe and flying home late. But I just think here there's going to be a really good pace to aim at with Ile Francais in there, who will definitely be, front running, jumping from fence to fence. I'm just going to take a chance on. I'm not a huge fan of that horse. He seems to have, from what I've seen so far, one big run in him a year, and tends to kind of drop off, doesn't he? That's often came in the King George.
Yep.
He ran no race at all up at Cheltenham, did he? But he probably is best fresh. But Django Bay for me is just a horse I'm going to side with here, and I think he could have a lot more to come this year. This extended 2 Mile 5 will probably play to his chances as well, I think. So I'm going to go with him.
Okay, we're against each other, guys, and this is what I think you all love anyway. For me, this is a race that I really look forward to seeing Ile Francais in. I know that Ile Francais is not everyone's cup of tea. He ran a brilliant race in the Unboxing Day at Kempton in the King George. Yeah, of course. I don't know how I nearly forgot the name. In the King George. He got collared very late on in the day by Banbridge, who picked him up probably in the last half a furlong. I think that Ile Francais is two things. One, best fresh, and two, better on right-handed tracks. And this is what he gets tomorrow. I think he's going to be given a fairly soft enough lead up top. And I think that they will not try and take him on because he is just too quick. And I think that he will go and jump. And I can kind of see it 3 out. Pings, James Reevely pings 3 out, makes a nice little ping his way home, trying to win the race. And the one that will be running on for me will be Django Bay. So that'll be the horse I'll be worried about. But I just think that it's all made for Ile Francais. I don't think he wins a King George, but I do believe that this is the right type of race for him to go and run a big race in. And for that, I'll stick with him. I think he's still odds against as we post this. And I think he's the horse to be on.
I mean, Pic Dory's in there as well. He's got to be worth a mention. Ascot specialist. We just feel that hard race at Wetherby only 3 weeks ago, I think it'll be come this weekend. Probably will just knock the stuffing out of him a little bit. If there's any chinks in Ile Francais' armour, look, Django Bay or Pic Dory can be there to pick up the pieces, that's for sure. But I just think that hard race, I just can't see him coming here at his absolute best after that. If he does, fair play to him, but geez, he had a good battle with Yellow there, didn't he, in the Charlie Horse?
Yeah, we're both of the same opinion. We're a bit surprised they went there in the first place. I know that the race probably did cut up, and there was half a thought, well, hang on a minute, we might be able to pick up a good win here. But
great Charlie on the end, was it? But
he has been brilliant around Ascot, and I think he's won this 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So to go there and go there on the back of what is a really tough race, it's just put us off completely, hasn't it? Because if it wasn't, you'd be like, hang on a minute, Pic Dory's a £10 better horse round there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it'd be no shock, would it? But just, as a punter, I just feel if he didn't have that run at Wetherby, came here a fresh horse, I'd have been all over him, just given his Ascot record. But.
Yeah. Okay, well, look, that's the end of part 1 of our coverage for this weekend's racing. Join us on another video where we'll be covering part 2, which begins with a 150 up at Haydock, and don't miss it because it looks like it's going to be a cracker. Thank you.